How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another Canadian video games channel playing some more Kerbal Space Program Science. I'm suddenly blanking on how the last mission went, but we do have access to a few things. Yeah, I've playing this for the channel has really brought back my love of the game, and I've started playing a proper career mode. Not for the channel, that's just for me, because I want to do that. This one should be a little bit easier to take care of, but I do want to just go and check in on a few things, make sure I'm not... That is not available. Yes, that would make sense. So we need some science. We need to get some science, and if I recall correctly, we haven't really achieved a proper orbit of Kerbal. Nearly, but not quite. So we need to construct a vehicle not unlike this one that can actually handle getting us up and into place. Did we unlock anything in any way interesting? Yeah, a lot of fins to try and improve stability. And we have the advanced inline stabilizers, and we have RCS available. Got some batteries on it. The Mark 9A. If we go back to fuel tanks. We have monopropellant tanks. We don't have cross-fueling yet, I don't think. Unless we can... Okay, so we can cross-fuel through the radial decouplers. That is of interest, yes. I might want to do a liquid-fueled system instead of all of this stuff. Yeah, okay, so we're going to keep the lander the way it is. Speaking of the lander, who's the crew? Who's crewing this thing? We've got Jeb. But if we put Bob in there, we can potentially get access to more science. So we'll take Jeb out and put Bob in, so we can capture and reuse experiments once we get into orbit and maybe beyond. But let's get back into here. Ooh, actually, actions. Set up a custom action group. I don't know. Here we go. Mystery goo containers. Observe the mysterious goo will be in action group 1. As well as... Gotta remember, shift to zoom. Shift and scroll. We will... Actually, they're kind of like a one-shot thing. Unless you collect the data. Well, they're all a one-shot thing unless you collect the data. So we'll take log pressure data, log temperature data, and let's see if we can go ahead and get observe materials bay and crew report, all in a single action group. So that should be as simple as we hit 1, and it'll do all that stuff once we are up there. We can set up... Can we set up one to reset everything? Maybe. Who knows? I'm not going to worry about that too much right now. So let's go ahead and... So this is... Let's consider perhaps we can make a flyby of the Mun with this mission. If we do it right, perhaps we can do that. So we're going to need a a transfer stage to get us to and from the Mun. So we're going to want a reasonable fuel tank. And the little Terrier engine, because it's pretty good once we're up there, once we're in orbit. So this is what's left after our orbiting has been achieved. So from here we're going to want to throw in a coupler. Now we're going to want some fuel tanks for our achieving orbit stage. We're going to want a couple of those. I'm going to throw in a couple of these big boys. Actually, just before we put those on, let's go ahead and grab one of those inline, the advanced inline stabilizers. Then we'll put in fuel tanks, just to try and keep them under control. I'm completely lost here. Put on a couple of fuel tanks. And we'll want do we want the Reliant, which is just good power? Or do we want the gimbaling, the swivel? I think we'll use the swivel. I think we'll use the swivel for all of them as well. And we're going to put some really big suckers on here, and we're going to go for a lot of them. Yep. Quite a lot of them. We're going to have a lot of rocket power going on here. This is going to be a warm situation. Do we have to go? Is that under the switch edit? Nope, that is entirely not right. Sorry, no, don't. Ay. Alright, we'll put you there. Yeah, 100% force time. It said that crossfeed toggles in editor and flight. The default is off. So, does that mean I just need to put tanks on there and then you'll allow me to... You'll allow me to edit the... If I can't get the cross-fueling situation... Oh, they've got different color schemes. I didn't even know. Oh, well, that's kind of cool. Well, in that case, no, not you. You. You're one in the middle here. Yeah, make you just white. And also you're going to be gray and orange, because that looks cool. Doesn't really fit. Color schemes aren't quite perfect, but that's fine. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put... Ooh, hello. Yeah. I also want to put one on top. On top. No. Why is that even an option? Oh. No. You're... Yes. That is what I was looking for. Great. Big. Beefy. Do I really not have the little fuel adapter? I could do with having that little fuel adapter. Because I can't figure out how to get these things to talk. Toggles in editor and flight. Requires fuel systems. Oh, is that like the technology that I just haven't unlocked yet? Oh, that could be right. Well, this will still be fine. We'll keep this. Aerodynamics. Oh, before I put on that, let's go ahead and add some advanced inline stabilizers to all of them, and then we'll put the nose cones on them. This is going to need some battery power. Where's the electrical? Just throw a whack of batteries on there. No concerns for any level of practicality there. And we want to throw on some engines. We'll throw on some gimbling engines just for more control. There we go. That is a lot of liquid fuel. That is a lot of liquid fuel. Now, do I want to try and put a solid booster on there just to help lift everything? Because these things they're decent enough. Well, we can try this out. We can see how it goes. And this will be Model 10. So this is the lift stage on the outside here. The main engines all fire there. This is the lift stage, so they all fire, they release. The next one fires, and that's the orbit stage. That should get us into orbit. And then the final stage here will get us to and around the Mun. The Mun or Mun? I know we call it the Moon, but Moon is also the word we use for all natural satellites around planets of a certain size and description and whatnot. So, Mun is a moon. Would the Kerbals have adopted a similar strategy? Are all celestial bodies Muns to them, and there is the Mun, and then, like, Minimus is a Mun or something? I don't know. And I don't know that it matters much. We'll go ahead and go to the launch pad. We will go to the launch pad. So hopefully this mission goes to plan. I'd hate to see everything just suddenly not work. Especially with old Bob there lined up, ready to do his job. We'll go ahead and turn on the SAS. Stability control, normal, radial out for now. That'll do. Or just stability assist is good. We can put the legs out. We'll bring them in. Lights? Do we have any lights? There's a light. There's a light inside. Oh, is really? Doesn't seem that necessarily useful. If I turn it off, does that change? It has no effect whatsoever. Bob, you lied to me. Alright, well, no point putting it off any longer. Let's see how this works. Full throttle, and away we go! Good. So far, so stable. Oh. Easy, easy. I don't like how much that thing wiggles. It is wiggling a lot. This was held on by only a few components. Yeah, things are starting to heat up a bit, so we can maybe just ease up on the throttle a bit. We are still accelerating, so that's not a huge concern. And oh, that's not good. It's all gone wrong. Can we get this thing turned around? Yes! Good. All right. We can save the mission. Just let's not lose complete control over this. The gimbling isn't as strong as I might hope. Oh, there's the upper atmosphere. Warming things up. Let's get rid of all of that stuff. We don't need that anymore. And fire off the next stage. Now this should have enough fuel and enough oomph to allow us to kick ourselves up into orbit. And we are high enough up now, I believe we can kill the power. Add a maneuver. That just brings us up to... I'd like to limit it to just the fuel that we have. No, that's not going to be enough. Oh, too much. What is that at? 70,000? A little bit more. A little bit more. Yeah, that'll do. So you go ahead and arrange for the maneuver, and that's going to require a minute-long burn. Rather unfortunate, and we're going to be digging into our second set of fuel. But we are in space, so you know that's not nothing. I feel like this is going to go a lot like my first flyby mission in my career playthrough, which is I kind of have enough fuel to make it work, but it's going to require a lot of air braking on the return journey. Which would be unfortunate. Because I only barely survived it in the career mode, and I get the strong impression that it wouldn't survive in this situation. But whatever, yeah, we're a minute out now. We can speed it up a little bit. We can just jump in here and see our ship in the Earth's shadow here. There's a little bit better. You can see the kind of the outline of the spacecraft on screen there. It's good. It's good. How much electrical charge do we have? Enough. We've got more than enough. Almost time to fire up the rockets. I think I've been seeing people try and like bounce it around the node and the burn time, and I'm not sure which is better to try and do, but we'll see here. Just let that tick down a couple more seconds, and that should be good. Burnout, let the autopilot keep everything in position. As we speed up and achieve orbit around Kerbin. I think I've been calling it Kerbal, but I think it's actually called Kerbin. Yep, Kerbin. I just had to look at that and tell me. There we go. Everything's still on target. We should have plenty of fuel for the little Terrier engine with that FL 400, 200, whatever it was called. That little fuel tank. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. There we go. We are in a stable orbit above Kerbin. For the first time, I think. Can we go ahead and take some science? None of it is worth keeping. Alright, reset, 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 reset. No worries. Yeah, we still got actually quite a lot of fuel. So, go back to the map. Let's see if we can plan an encounter. Let's add a maneuver and stretch that out until we hit the moon. We can swing this around until... Aha! Here we go. We can just do a nice high fly pass. That won't require too much, and we can actually... Oop. Right. If we time it for here, we can do it enough, just so that if we get this right, we will get our encounter, and then we'll just leave it as well. Like we're Oh, I think we've hit a certain height. 150,000 meters. Alright, cool. So yeah, if we hit this right, we'll get our encounter with the Mun. We can do some science high above the Mun. And then, without needing to do any course corrections ourselves, we'll return to Kerbin, so to speak. We'll just be returned gently, without needing to use our engines at all. And then, hopefully, we can use our engines at this point to slow ourselves down and enter Kerbin without the need of too much air braking. That would probably be good to see, yes. So we're going to go ahead and put ourselves on a maneuver path. Let the ship figure that out with the SAS system, which still has plenty of everything going for it. And we will speed things up until we're in position, because the node's still 11 minutes away. Just slow it down there. We can wait out the next minute while we can actually get a nice look at the ship on the sunny side and the view of Kerbin. And I don't know if I've had a chance to do this yet, so we can actually go EVA, get an EVA report. Oh, we've done that already. Alright, well, safely back on board. No harm done. And look at that. It's quite beautiful. There's the sun, or the star in any case. Maybe they call it the sun as well, who knows. The Mun is on the other side, so we can't actually see it right now, but it is there. So that's good. We'll just hop back out here for the maneuver, just so we can keep an eye on our trajectories and everything. And there's the Mun. And yeah, we're at 57 seconds from node. Yeah, I think trying to balance the burn on either side of the node is probably the best approach. And we should have plenty of fuel to do this. And even do some air braking. Well, not air braking, like some actual proper braking with the thrusters. We're just about in place. We'll fire up the thrusters. Maintain our maneuver settings. That almost disappeared. That would have been bad. Just suddenly just throw ourselves straight at Kerbin. That's all gone wrong. And we can see our apoapsis is increasing further and further from the planet. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, so in this situation we want to actually go a little bit on the retrograde. There we go! Boom! That's a nice path right there. I don't see how much fuel we have left. Ah! We're in much better shape than I thought we were going to be in. Fantastic. Well done, little ship. Well done, little Bob. Good stuff. Stay on a retrograde. That'll be good enough. Now we can go ahead and speed this up quite a bit until we get to Mun. And there we can see our ComNet network and who we have connections with on Kerbin. Because we don't have a pilot, so we could lose some maneuverability aspects if we get a bit too far out here. We can go ahead and speed that up a bit more. We are going quite a ways out. When we hit the Mun encounter, it should slow us down automatically. I expect. If not, we're pretty... There we go, we've dropped down to time warp 50. And now we have a new map showing us escaping eventually. But we'll slow that down right down to normal time. Get in here and see the mun. Just make sure that this thing's still functional. We'll go ahead and we'll collect some science. So we'll collect crew reports, everything, temperature scans, atmospheric pressure, observation. Good, and we'll go EVA. And we will get our EVA reports. And we will reset the materials bay. We will... Can I not? Oh, maybe I'm a bit too far. Woohoo. Reset the goo. I don't think... Oops, excuse me. Yeah, I don't think I need to reset those. Reset the goo. Grab onto that, and we will take the data, store experiments, board. I think that means we've got everything. Maybe not. Reset. Okay, well, hold on. Bob, we need you to go back outside for a minute. Collect the data. That's what you need to do. And then you restore. So let's do that again, because I think we did that a bit wrong. We'll collect the data and restore. I don't think I need to float you around anyways. We will keep the experiment, collect the data, and restore. We will log the temperature. No, we will take the data, and then log the temperature. And we'll keep that. And we will take the data. And we will take the data and log the pressure and keep that and take the data. And we will take the data, and we will store everything, except 3 things couldn't be stored. Why? Not all items could be stored. What couldn't be stored? Mysterious goo observation while in space high over the mun. Scans already. Well, get aboard. Dump what we can't take with us. Oh, did we take an EVA report? Hold on. EVA report. Take that. Get on board. I guess we can't keep that. Do we already have a copy of it? I think we already had a copy of the report. That's good. That's fine. Then we can speed this up until we exit our mun encounter. And we are back into high orbit around Kerbal. So what we can do is we can go right back out here and say, hello you. We're going to do some more studies. I'm going to keep all of the experiments. And now Mr. Bob, you're going to go EVA again. You do that a lot. And we're going to collect the data. And we will restore that just in case we need to do this again. And, oh, can't reach that one. Can't reach that one. Okay, so we do have to do a little bit of Ooh, 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 ooh. No, don't fly away. Don't fly away. Don't fly away. Don't fly away. Eh. Ooh. Collect the data. Restore. No, you. Take data. You. Take data. You. Collect data. Restore. Take data. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh. Your inability to rotate around, or my inability to figure out what buttons that requires is slightly frustrating. And we'll do an EVA report, and we'll get back on board. Some of them can't be kept. Dump them. We'll do a crew report. We will go EVA. We will check on our... we still have plenty of data, so we'll go ahead and do that. Board. I don't think it's letting us keep the crew reports, maybe? But we're in a good position now. Now I am curious if we can repeat the studies at about halfway here. But first, let's go ahead and maybe plan our braking maneuver and see how much fuel that's going to cost. If we can bring this down to a circular orbit. Ah, there we go. That's going to be too much. Which means we don't want to take it that far, because that will our periapsis or our low point in our orbit is going to be above the atmosphere, which means we won't get any air brake effect, which means we'll just run out, we'll just be stuck orbiting like that until we can send another ship out to save it. So we'll go for about there, and then we should be able to do another brake maneuver here, bring us just down into the atmosphere. And then we'll be able to do some more braking when we come back around to that position when the time comes. But for now, let's go ahead and speed time up. Get around to that halfway position and see if that's a new environment that we can take data from. We'll just stop it right there. I say stop. We're still moving 800 meters a second, but the distances are so vast that it doesn't seem to matter. Can we observe the goo? High in space over Kerbal. I think that means that... Oh, okay, we take crew information. We can go ahead and try and record all of this stuff. That was only 5 of them. Before it was coming in with 6 things. Oh, is that because I've already done the crew report? Right, because I set the crew report as one of the things that it would take. Alright, so let's go ahead and collect all of that. And Bob, we're going outside again. I know how much you love this. So we'll do all of this. This is a much more efficient way to get science than what I was doing before. Let's go ahead and collect the data. That way, even if that gets destroyed, it's fine. And then we restore it, just in case we need to get into it again. Ah, we've moved enough that we can get access to all of this stuff. Good. I didn't want to have to actually fly around again, because I'm not that good with it. Do we take the data from this, or do we just reset it? I'm not sure, so let's go ahead and just do that again. Same with this. I don't know if I actually hit remove data. There we go. Collect the data, remove the data, restore. And come around to this side, and we will take the data from both of you. Good. Now, let's take the 13 experiments. Let's store 9 of them are duplicates I'm thinking that's what that is, so we'll just toss those. We don't need duplicates anyways. So we're looking like we're in good shape. And now that I know how to properly take stuff out of the Science Junior, we probably don't need to keep those on the reentry pods to save weight and energy, and they might get exploded when we pull off this maneuver in 1 hour 9 minutes Kerbal time. Let's go ahead and speed that up. So jump ahead until we get a bit closer, because we only need 10 seconds of burn. So we can go ahead, we can speed up our warp a little bit here. Ooh, let's drop that right down. So we're screaming across in front of Kerbin. Let's keep that on the maneuver node, thank you. At 3,000 meters per second, which is why we don't really want to enter the atmosphere like that. That would get a little hot, a little toasty. But we will do this little brake burn for the 10 seconds or whatever that is going to take to do that, which is excellent. And there's the MUN. It's moved quite a bit from when we started, and it's orbiting at 500 meters a second. That's all right. 30 seconds from the node. We'll wait until we're about 5 seconds out, and then we'll start our burn and bring our altitude down, our apoapsis, our high point, which is currently stable because we're not going to hit atmosphere on this occasion, or at this moment we're not in the atmosphere. So very soon here, let's go ahead and burn. Keep burning, keep burning, keep burning. And stop. Good. Now up here, we're going to add another maneuver. This one we're going to have to be fairly careful with. It's going to be retro burn. We want to bring that down to just about, actually 65,000 meters, just about perfect for what I want to do. Burn time 0 seconds. That's going to be a simple matter of tapping the thing, because we are going to be moving slow here. It's easier to drop your height, especially when you're only just doing a small distance like this in this situation. So let's go ahead and set you over to the maneuver node. There we are. And we'll go ahead and speed this up, because our maneuver is still an hour away. And we'll just get ourselves up to that position. And it might be possible to do some science from here as well. So we might want to check that out. See about getting some science in. So let's get all the way out to here. We'll do the burn, and then we'll check for any relevant scientific breakthroughs that we can make. 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and bring that down to standard normal speed, full time, full speed. I guess it'd be beyond full speed when you're doing the time warp. That does make sense. Yes. We could probably do the burn from here. I'm just gonna do this real quick here so I can say I want to see our actual periapsis, and I want to see how that changes with a little bit of a burn. And yeah, that's good. That's good enough. And then when we come around to this side, we'll go ahead and just burn off the rest of our fuel. Which will bring our apoapsis down even further in an excellent manner. And then we'll hit the edge of the atmosphere. Yeah, we'd actually force ourselves to enter the atmosphere very thickly. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather That brings us down to 50,000 meters. As long as we're still like up around 60, 70,000 meters, we're not going to have too much issues with it heating. But let's go ahead and see if we can collect some science while we're up here. High. I think this still counts as high over Kerbal. But go ahead. We will take all of the readings. And we will go EVA. Take a couple steps down. Gather an EVA report. Thank you. And collect the data. Restore the systems. Collect the data. Restore the systems. Collect data. Restore the system. Kind of hard to see because everything's in the dark here. Take the data from the barometer. And take the data from the thermometer. And take everything from the system. We had 13 and we only managed to store 12. Alright, well, that's fine. I think we can go ahead and take the crew report. At this point, we'll keep that. We won't worry about the rest of the science. It is now a matter of getting Bob here safely back on land. So we're going to go ahead and speed that up. Now, as soon as we hit 70,000 meters, it will time warp us. It'll drop our time warp down. I think once we hit 100,000, we'll drop to 50, and then when we hit 70,000 or 72,000 meters, it'll drop us back to 1 speed, at which point I'm not going to worry too much about exactly when the maneuver fires off, but that's going to be more or less when I want to do the final burn and get rid of the last of our fuel, and our final engine can be ejected, and we'll be doing just fine. So here we come, time warp down to 50, and there we go. Yeah, that's pretty much just where I wanted it to be. And yeah, now we've got a lot. It's going to take a lot more fuel now because we're in atmosphere, and this engine doesn't like atmosphere. But all I really wanted to do was burn some fuel, and it's having a hard time deciding if it's good enough or not. But we're just going to burn off all the rest of our fuel while we are in atmosphere. Just keep that on the maneuver node. And that pretty much worked. Good, so we can go ahead and dump that and set it to follow retrograde. This way the heat shield is taking the worst of it, although some things might explode. Just saying, some of them might explode. We are still coming in at 2,500 meters a second into high orbit. But we can go ahead and speed that up a little bit. We shouldn't get too far into the atmosphere. There we go. We're already on our way back out. But there should be... Yeah, our apoapsis is dropping because of air friction, slowing us down. And our periapsis is mostly stable, so we should get a few passes like that, which could take a little bit of while. This might be the only mission we do today. And there, it has stabilized, which means we are in space again, so we can actually speed up. It's 120,000 meters. But there we go. Which means we can actually speed up. And the SAS doesn't keep track when you're doing certain time warp level stuff, but like I said, before we get back into the atmosphere proper, it will drop us down to regular speed, and the SAS system will be able to turn us the right way around. This is going to be important information, though. I'm curious to know if our ability to survive the atmosphere is going to be significantly impacted or not by how often we have to air brake here. So I don't think we're going to be going low enough here that we'll see any fireballs occurring. So what I'm going to like to do here is just keep an eye on our apoapsis and our periapsis and see how they're affected. And we can see this is falling fairly quick, not hugely quick. It's not like we're burning fuel to bring that down, which is good. I don't think we have a whole lot of consumption of our various resources, so we're doing all right in that sense. And yeah, we're still in the 60,000 meter range, so we're still getting very light usage out of... Let's go ahead and throw that on there too. And we can see the altitude a little bit better. There we go, we're into space, so we can turn that down and speed on up. And yeah, 63,464. We're going to be able to do a few of these passes before we are low enough for any burning to happen on the re-entry side of things. Yeah, we didn't quite have enough fuel. Maybe a few more. We threw a few more fuel tanks on the old Mark 10 here. Make a Mark 10A, just more fuel, and we should be able to do this with a proper burn to slow ourselves down until we can get back to entry speeds. But here we're going to be dropping down to 63,400 meters ish. The periapsis does drop as you hit that friction because you're slowing down. Here we can see our apoapsis has dropped over 10,000 meters from our last pass. But we are still orbiting at our slowest speed here of, or our highest speed is around 25,000, or 2,500 meters, 25,000 meters per second. Wow, that'd be booking her. But yeah, so as we accelerate away from the planet, that slows down, and we'll be at our slowest over here and our fastest at the periapsis. But there, we're back into space, so we can go ahead and speed up our warp until we're back over 120. Then we can really speed it up at 100 times warp. We come out to our periapsis, which for some reason disappeared from the screen here, which is at currently 366,461. And we're accelerating as we approach our periapsis. That was our apoapsis or periapsis of 63,384 meters. We'll go ahead and speed that up. Because again, we're not going to be in dangerous territory here just yet. It's not going to be until our periapsis drops a bit more. We still got good old Bob sitting in the vessel. Good stuff, good stuff. I think we're on our way back up. Our periapsis has dropped to 340,000, and it's continuing to drop still as we are still in atmosphere. We're still getting some air brake effect. Unfortunately, it is very light, but at the same time, that's maybe a good thing, because if you come in too fast, you just burn up and explode. And we are going quite quick. But there it's stabilized, so we can go ahead and speed on up the old time warp. This mission is now taking 2 days, 5 hours, and several minutes to occur. Poor Bob. Bob. Spending so much time alone in the ship for all of this stuff. And yeah, there we go. Back in the atmosphere. Again, I'm not too concerned about how low we're going, so I'm not desperately worried about things burning up and getting turned sideways and having the whole thing go squirrely. So we'll leave that run at 4 times warp just to speed through a few of these passes, because there's going to be a few of them. Especially with how fast we're going and how high we are. Might have wanted to bring that down just maybe a little bit further, just so that we're starting to skim the 50,000 range of altitudes. Would have sped it up a bit. Might have used up more of our heat shield though, so we'll see how this goes. But I don't think we'll have anything too dramatic occurring here. We are back in space, so we can go ahead and speed on up. Right until we're 120,000 meters. Speed it up even further. Yeah, we can see our velocity dropping as we approach apoapsis down to 1,800 meters per second. And it will accelerate once again as we approach our periapsis Although it will hit its peak before the periapsis just because of the air resistance and the effects that has. So it is still accelerating. The acceleration is going to be decreasing as we enter the atmosphere, and then ultimately it will stop accelerating before we hit the periapsis, which is when it would otherwise, yeah, right there. We've started decelerating already. Not quite at the periapsis, but it's bringing our apoapsis down quite nicely. So there we go. We are now on our way back out of the atmosphere, having hit our lowest point, but still very much in the atmosphere, still getting that air brake effect. We're gonna do a few of these passes, but that's acceptable. We're at 66,000 meters. Yeah, so we're also in the atmosphere for a lot longer now. A lot longer. And there we go. Out of the atmosphere. We can go ahead and speed this right on up until we get to 120. Speed that up even further. Good stuff. Out to the apoapsis. Back down to the periapsis. We're getting a much more circular orbit at this point, which is a good thing to see. We'll go ahead and speed through here. So we're back in the atmosphere. We enter the atmosphere around here. We'll leave it somewhere around here. And still accelerating. The acceleration is slowing down. And we are decelerating at this point. Well, technically still accelerating, but it's negative acceleration, if you really want to get nitpicky. As we approach the periapsis. And there, we're past. Still getting some air brake, still lowering our apoapsis. I'm really hoping I can get this done in the one video, because I don't have video editing software. At least none that I like. Apparently you can use Microsoft Photos to do that stuff in Windows 10. But it's garbage. It's absolute garbage. And there's 70,000 meters, so we'll just give ourselves that speed boost. Well, it's not a speed boost, time warp, whatever. Get right up to it. As we whip around. Let's turn you back on. Time warp. Dropping off. Oops, excuse me. There we are back at time warp 4. As we approach, or as we enter the atmosphere once again. We're going to be spending more and more time in the atmosphere with each of these passes. Although not necessarily by all that much. Oh, there's the Kerbal Space Center. I don't know that we're actually going to be able to land there. I get the feeling we're going to be landing somewhere over here. Just because this area is probably going to degrade faster than that side. Well, actually, no, it's not. This is definitely degrading faster, but like this will get into the point of no return. Eventually, our periapsis will drop enough that as we enter the atmosphere, we will decelerate enough to drop our periapsis far enough that we will just drop to the Earth, or to Kerbin. We're not going to keep doing this until we're like flying past it like 40 meters above or anything like that. Which you could do in a plane. You could do that with a space plane that you come back. You could just circle around very slowly until you've landed. But even then, you wouldn't want to do that. As soon as you're at a reasonable speed, you would just go straight for the landing. But our periapsis is now down to 62,481 meters. So our periapsis isn't dropping that fast. We haven't really hit very thick atmosphere. This past round, when we get to the periapsis, I'll jump out of the map view so we can see exactly what sort of situation the lander is in. The lander, the shuttle, the craft, the pod, the vessel. Because yeah, we can see that we haven't used a whole lot of the heat shield yet. And we are still getting our apoapsis drawn in a bit. So that's okay. But I don't expect there to be any burning or anything of that nature going on. But as we close in here, let's just jump views. And yeah, looks fairly anticlimactic. We're in the very upper atmosphere. Just collecting some air brake effect. Just getting some the odd particle in the way. And we're on our way back up. Our apoapsis is dropping down. Periapsis is dropping down. Pretty soon we're not going to be able to use that 100 times zoom, speed zoom, warp. That's the one. That's the word. That's the description. So we'll be able to pull this off. We should have an incredible volume of science. I'm hoping. I'm thinking maybe we don't have as much as I hoped, as I had maybe tried to get. Because I don't think it lets you store duplicate information. Which is fair. Although 146 is not going to be high over Kerbin. Is that going to be high enough up that we could get away with doing some science and trying to get our what's it called? Just take the science, don't store it. Just leave it in the vessel for collection upon arrival. Maybe. Maybe not. We are still going quite quick. 23,000 meters per second. 2,300 meters per second. I want this to be going a lot faster than it is. I don't know why, but there you go. We are almost at our peak speed for this pass. And there we go. We won't be going any faster than that. Either this round or the next. That's the cap. As we pass further into the atmosphere, and our periapsis drops, and our apoapsis drops. This is going okay. This should be a fairly safe re-entry, I think. I don't think we'll have too much to worry about. Our equipment might even make it to the ground, which would be good. Then we've passed the periapsis. We're on our way back up. And that was a pretty non-event, I think. I mean, I wasn't, checking it directly or anything to see that it wasn't flaming out or anything, but it is on the way up, so that's indicative of nothing went wrong. And our apoapsis is now under 100,000 meters, so we're not going to get the times 100 speed warp going on today on this pass. What are we up to? Day 3, hour 2, 59 minutes, and yeah, we're going to hit day 3, hour 3 very quickly here. But we're also only half an hour around to our periapsis, which is, I think, moving across the planet. No, now we're in front of the Space Center. Maybe we'll land near the Space Center. That would be kind of cool. Because it's dropping down. Now it's into the 50s, 50,000 meter range. It's under 60,000 meters, so that could be interesting. We're still in the atmosphere, too. That's like we've gone a quarter of the way around the planet without leaving the atmosphere. So that is interesting. And there we go. We're out. Everything is stabilized. We can go ahead and get our 50 warp going. Actually, we might land somewhere over here, because I get the feeling with our apoapsis at a mere 83,000 meters that this could be the last rotation, the last orbit until we land. And yeah, there we go. We've entered the atmosphere way ahead of our periapsis. So we'll just speed that up until we're a little bit closer to it. Yeah, so now we're likely to spend half a rotation within the atmosphere, which makes me think we will be landing. Although I'm not entirely sure where. It'd be kind of cool if we landed in the Space Center. That would be entirely accidental if it did work out. 100% accidental. But that would be very cool. And yeah, our periapsis is now dropping as well, and quite quickly. yeah, I suspect that this is going to be our final air brake maneuver. And once we get under 60,000, I'm going to want to switch to the other view just to keep track and make sure that nothing burns up. But we are getting pretty close. The periapsis keeps dropping. The apoapsis is now basically within the atmosphere, and that's it. This is it. This is the last pass that we will be doing. We will be landing. There's no doing another lap around the planet. This is the landing stretch. Hopefully the equipment and everything survives. That would be good. Can we do... No, that's worth keeping. Do some science from here. It's like, no. Oh, there we go. The camera's just reorientated itself. It said, nope, you're not orbiting this in that sense anymore. You are going to be landing. So that means if we come out here, we'll see that, yeah, we don't have a periapsis anymore, just the apoapsis, and it's behind us. We are just going down. So I'm going to slow it down as we start to catch fire here. As we approach 50,000 meters, with no hope of being able to turn this thing back upright. We can actually watch this from their crew quarters. See the burning appearing? It's always pretty. It's always pretty. Oh, I do have a question. How fast are we going? Quite quick, and that was the wrong button to press. We're going quite quick. Hopefully, we're at a shallow enough angle that the heat shield will allow us to slow down enough that this isn't a concern. They have some pretty fun effects, particularly if you look at it from the sides or whatever. That looks very good. When you get right up in here and you do this, it does lose some of the effect. And we are getting enough of an atmosphere that we can start to hear it burn. Which is always fun. This video is just going to be a little bit longer than normal because I'm not going to cut this off now when we're like a minute from touchdown or whatever. But yeah, we are starting to heat up. We're probably going to lose the goo. We might even lose the batteries and the landing legs. Not much I can do about that at this point. The landing legs weren't really meant for re-entry, but here we go. Things are definitely heating up. I think... Where's the Space Center? I think the Space Center's just over here somewhere. And yeah, there's a thermometer that's... I think that's a goo pod? Or is that on the leg? I think that's the goo pods are starting to warm up. It would make sense. They're a little bit closer to the front. We're at 38,000 meters. And we are hot. We are hot stuff. And if we take a look at this from inside, less impressive. Admittedly less impressive. We are quite bright as we come scream. Yep, that's the Space Center right there. We might actually be landing somewhere in that area. We might also be landing in these mountains. I don't know. You can see the curvature of I was about to call it the Earth, the curvature of Kerbal here. And you know what? I think everything's going to survive. I don't think we're going to have any problems. I'm also not convinced that we're going to land on the mountains anymore. Although we are already 26,000 meters from touchdown. And we do have... Yes, that's our first landing, 77 kilometers away. Oh, things are starting to cool off, slow down. Yeah, we'll be landing between these mountains and the Space Center, I think. As we enter the middle atmosphere, everything starts to calm down. Our angle starts to relax. It all survived. Well, I'm impressed. Here we come. Yeah, we're actually not going to be that far from Kerbal, which is kind of cool. And we can release the drag chutes now, or the drogue chutes, or whatever they're called. The radium mount drogue chute. So yeah, let's send those out. Get some slowing occurring here. Maybe we'll land in a new biome that we can take some science from. That would be good. Just get a little bit more. Just a little bit more. And I'll just wait for those things to fill out. I don't know what height they go off at. But they'll go off. We'll set off the main chutes. And we'll set down the landing gear. And good old Bob here will come to a gentle halt on the ground in a minute or so. There's the shadow. It's always good to watch the shadow. Gives you an idea of how far off you are. Speaking of science, is this... This is just flying over Kerbal. This doesn't count as anything of interest. Crew report. Cancel overwrite. No, don't overwrite existing crew report. It might actually have some value. Might. Bob's having a good day. A good day. He got there, he got back. It only took him 3 days to go to the moon and back. Just a little flyby. Didn't actually land there or anything, although that might be the next mission. We'll see how much science we get from this and what we can unlock. And touchdown. Ooh. Yeah, don't touch down at really high warp. It doesn't go well. But there we go. Let's see. Is this a new biome? Can we take some science here? No. Well, that's okay. We've done enough. Let's recover the vessel. And let's see what our science intake is like. 250 science earned. Yeah, I'll accept that. I'll accept that. That'll earn us a few little trinkets and doodads. There's fuel systems. That's the fuel duct and the Rockamax fuel tanks and the bigger fuel tanks and all that good stuff. We might want some of that. So we've got enough for 3 of these, of this level technology. So we can get the big crew container, rover wheels, we can get bigger heat shields, landing struts, bigger landing struts, bigger parachutes, landing gear for like if we wanted to build a space shuttle. We can get improved aerodynamic equipment. If we wanted to try and make space planes. Enhanced Rockamax connectivity. Of course, down here we get miniaturization. We can get the docking port junior. We could try and build a space station. Get electronics. Get us a new probe. The Probodyne Octo. Could go for that. Go all the way up here for heavy rocketry and get ourselves a Poodle, which has very terrible thrust in atmosphere and decent thrust outside. And the Skipper, which is just good all around. That's a big engine though. Probably goes through a fair amount of fuel. I'm not sure how to find that information. And then the even bigger solid booster. So we've got to decide. And then here's the little spark engine, which is just terrible everywhere, but probably fuel efficient. Yeah, not bad. Ant liquid fuel engine, which is like I think this works with RCS, but it doesn't use monopropellant, which is okay. And the Baguette external tanks, Oscar B fuel tanks, fuel systems. I do want to get this so we can do some interesting things and some bigger fuel tanks to get bigger stuff out. What does this have in it? Photovoltaic panels, solar panels, rechargeable batteries. What do we have in here? Camuchon, relay arrays, struts, decouplers. Oh, we could even go for some of this stuff with the Mark 1-3 command pod. So this can carry the whole crew. We can take scientist, an engineer, and a pilot. No compromises. Lander can, service bays. Specialized control, fly-by-wire. Avionics. Choices. Next time, as we've already gone a little over time, until then, have a good one.